Hello everyone, I'm MVL, and in this video we're going to be looking at 5 Xbox 360 games that may feel incomplete without downloadable content. As you may know, the Xbox 360 marketplace is going away soon, and whilst much of that content may still be playable on the Xbox One onwards, that will be through a cloud-based emulation service. Many games have substantial extra content that isn't on the disc, like Alice Madness Returns, which downloads the previous game American McGee's Alice, or Portal 2, which downloads the multiplayer content Peer Review. With those sort of honourable mentions, that's the sort of thing we're going to be looking at in this video, so without further ado, let's get started. First up we have Batman Arkham Origins. Batman Arkham Origins is an action-adventure game, and this is the Game of the Year edition, which comes with all the downloadable content. Unfortunately, unlike previous Arkham series games on the Xbox 360, which came with the extra content included on disc, all of the extra content in Arkham Origins is downloaded, and in this package I got it as a download code in the box. One thing I should also mention is that many Xbox 360 games' digital content may require an online check to activate, and you might need the latest game patch installed for that content to show up. I think I had this issue with Dead Space 2 Severed or Dead Space 3 Awakened DLC Story, where the content didn't even show up on the menu without updating the game. The Arkham Origins extra content includes new costumes, challenge maps, and the extra story mode Cold Cold Heart, which is what you're seeing right now. And this is the most substantial inclusion. Cold Cold Heart is a cool single-player story, and this content introduces the origins of Mr. Freeze, and it's a chilling and exciting brief adventure that is challenging and interesting. Although this content was ported to other systems, there's still no physical version including it that I know of. So if you are a Batman or an Arkham game fan, you'll want to check this out while you can. That's Batman Arkham Origins. Next up we have Dead Rising 2. Dead Rising 2, Case Zero and Case West are digital-only action-adventure games related to Dead Rising 2. I got both of these games as codes in the box with the Dead Rising collection on the Xbox 360. Dead Rising Case Zero is a prequel to Dead Rising 2, and I think I already had Case Zero as a pre-order bonus for Dead Rising 2 because I remember playing this before Dead Rising 2 came out. Case Zero can act as a fun sandbox to get you used to the controls and game mechanics and generally get you ready for the main game. What's more is that you can port over your experience and some of the items like costumes from this game into the main game itself, so you can get a head start with Dead Rising 2 leveled up and ready for action. Case West takes place after the main Dead Rising 2 story, picking up right after the canonical ending of the endings available. This returns fan-favourite characters from the previous Dead Rising game and introduces new mechanics and new items like cool costumes and powerful new weapons and combinations. This game could also be played cooperatively online, which was a really nice feature. Case West also sets up the story for future games in the series. If you are a Dead Rising fan, you'll want to check out Dead Rising 2, Case Zero, and Case West. Next up we have Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City is a third-person shooter. This game includes a campaign story of missions on disc to enjoy playing as the Umbrella Security Service. However, there's an entire equal-length campaign available to download where you can play as the other side, the US Special Ops team. This essentially doubles the length of the game, and whilst the story is non-canonical to the Resident Evil timeline, and the gameplay is a departure from the normal survival horror aspects of the series, I do think this game is pretty fun, and if you like the story of the first campaign included on the disc, I think you'll really like how things proceed with the other DLC campaign, as the story continues through tough battles, powerful bosses, and into an epic and satisfying conclusion. I will however note that the DLC campaign can only be accessed and played through the free play option on the game's main menu, instead of through the campaign option for whatever reason. I do want to stress that I think this game gets overlooked because of its very different direction from the Resident Evil series, but if you think about this game as more of a Gears of War style experience, I think you'll find it very enjoyable, and if you like Resident Evil and fast action, you'll want to check this out. That's Resident Evil Operation Raccoon City. Next up we have Tekken Tag Tournament 2. Tekken Tag Tournament 2 is a fighting game. This game initially locked away several characters as pre-order DLC. These DLC characters include Ancient Ogre, Angel, Dr. Boskonovich, Kunimitsu, Michelle, Miharu, Sebastian, Slim Bob, Unknown, and Violet. Now technically speaking, all of the extra characters are actually on the disc and were freely unlocked after various timed exclusive periods had passed. Whilst the characters are on the disc, an online check and update does need to be applied to use them. This dreaded online check does mean, however, that without the internet, these characters would remain permanently absent. It should also be mentioned that a DLC code was also required and supplied in all new copies to be able to play this game online. This online pass was also sold separately. Anyway, these characters are very cool and some of them are fan favourites from previous games in the series, so it's great to be able to play them in this game. I'm a big fan of the King of Iron Fist games and the various crazy characters from those games. If you're a fan of the Tekken series as well, you may want to tag in to this fight. That's Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And finally we have Tomb Raider Underworld. Tomb Raider Underworld is an action-adventure game. There are a number of extra outfits available as downloadable content for this game, which include costumes and wetsuits, but exclusive to the Xbox 360 are two story modes, Beneath the Ashes and Lara's Shadow. Beneath the Ashes follows on from the game's main story, with Lara venturing under the burned down Croft Manor and tying up loose ends. This has Lara seeking relics and treasure whilst deftly platforming around a hazardous environment and dealing with the ghastly enemies in her path. Lara's Shadow has the player controlling an evil Lara Croft doppelganger created with ancient technology by an enemy of Lara, and this doppelganger is on a mission to dispatch with the original Tomb Raider. Lara's Shadow also takes place after the main story, and here, whilst this content still contains much of the normal exploratory aspects of the game series, Lara's Shadow plays a little different and takes the gameplay into a more action-orientated turn, with a stronger emphasis on combat and platforming, and including new controls where the doppelganger can use shadow powers to quickly defeat enemies and traverse with magical speed. This content really is a blast to play. It's a shame this was Xbox exclusive because a lot of people might not have played this DLC if they didn't have it or they played on a different platform. I think this content really adds to the story, so especially if you are a Tomb Raider fan, if you get the chance, I really recommend checking this out. That's Tomb Raider Underworld. And there you have it. Know any other games on the Xbox 360 that had good DLC content? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, be sure to leave a like or a comment to let me know what you think. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. And if you'd like to, you can also support me through Patreon or YouTube channel membership. Thank you for watching. I've been MVL, and I will catch you next time.